Hey, 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 everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Live at 4:05. I'm Tori Humphreys, a professional life coach, here to help creatives move from abstract ideas to concrete realities. Today, our focus is on taking your time. Hey, how you doing, Ange? So it can be so easy to watch our lives go by swiftly and really just not even pay attention to how much is just going by so fast. 4:05, baby. Love it. So my challenge for you guys is to think about when was the last time you had a moment just to pause and reflect. And and just really take a second to really be in the moment. I noticed for me over the past several weeks, which have been crazy for me, it's been hard. I've been focusing on planning on what's ahead or reflecting on the things that have already happened. So I noticed that I didn't focus on what was actually taking place right here, right now. It wasn't only affecting me, it was affecting my kids, affecting my husband. And so I'm like, okay, I was overwhelmed with all these different things. And I'm sure you guys have been there, felt the same way. So I just want to take this time just to go over some mindful exercises, just to give you some ideas, if you don't have any already, just to take your time, calm down, be in the present. I understand not all of these will work, because some of them do work for me, some of them don't. Totally fine. And discover other ones. If you have ideas, send me a message. I want to know about it, because I can always use more mindful exercises as well too. So let's start off with some breathing exercises. I'm going to be honest, most of my breathing exercises that I get are from an app called Finch. It's a self-care app. And it has, basically you take care of this cute little bird and it represents your self-care. And so it helps you keep track of how you're taking care of yourself. Highly recommend. They didn't ask me to do this. They could pay me, but they're not. So highly recommend that app. It's called Finch, Finch. So let's start with one breathing technique, which is called calm breathing. And actually, before we get into that, remember to take it at your own pace when you're doing these breathing exercises, because you don't want to overexert yourself. You want to take it at your own pace and stop if it becomes too much. So calm breathing is just an exercise where you inhale through your nose for 4 seconds and you exhale for a count of 6 seconds, and then you repeat as necessary. It's a pretty simple exercise. And the great thing about breathing exercises is that you don't have to be at a particular place in order to do them. You could be anywhere. You always got your lungs with you, which is a blessing. So breathing in through your nose for 4 seconds, exhaling for 6 seconds. And just that will allow you to relax, lower your heart rate and blood pressure. Now, the next one is one of my favorites. I love a good body scan breathing. So you start with your feet planted on the ground or lying down if you prefer to do that. And you just imagine starting with your feet, breathing in and out of your feet with your feet in mind. It just helps with focus on a particular body part at a time. And you breathe in with your feet in mind, and then you breathe out. And then you move up to your ankles. You could get really specific: ankles, your legs, knees, shins. I actually don't know what shins are, to be honest. I don't know if it's lower, but anyway, you get the idea. So you move up to your legs, you breathe in, breathe out with your legs in mind. Then you move to your knees, and then your thighs, and then your abdomen, back. And if at all you notice that there's tension in your body, sometimes you might just want to do a body scan where you focus on different tensions that you're feeling, and just breathing in and out of these areas that can be painful for you. And yeah, and so then you keep going until you get to the top of your head, breathing in and out at the top of your head. And then, yeah, that's pretty much everything. This one, this breathing technique helps with de-stressing, relaxing, and I can personally say it helps me sleep better. The first time I did this, I was like, whoa, I felt like someone smacked me with sleep because it felt so good. So highly recommend that. Next, anxiety breathing. So if you find yourself getting anxious, you have certain things that are coming up that you're like really worried about or have trouble sleeping, those types of things, this exercise helps with anxiety. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, and exhale for 6 seconds. So the only difference between this and the calm breathing is the holding in the middle. So you just hold for those 2 seconds and then you exhale and then you repeat as necessary. And yeah, and so basically this helps to reduce with hypertension, blood pressure, heart rate, stress levels. So yeah, the next one is also great for helping you sleep. This is the sleep breathing one, where you can breathe in your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and exhale for 8 seconds. And just watch, you'll see. You'll be sleeping before you know it. It helps to relax your mind and your body, and it kickstarts the parasympathetic nervous system. So highly recommend that breathing technique. So those are the breathing exercises that I have for us. Let's go into some other mindful exercises that I found helpful. So I have 2 small, beautiful boys. I actually didn't realize that this was super helpful until I started coloring with my son. Now, it's so funny because I find that I enjoy the coloring more than he does, but that's fine. He'll be coloring for like a few minutes and then I'll still be there coloring. Yeah, so definitely don't knock just the simple back and forth motions of coloring. It can be just really relaxing, helping you to focus on just, getting other things out of your mind and just focusing on just one thing in the present, what's right in front of you. So some of the ones I usually do, my son loves Paw Patrol, so he found me. I ripped a sheet out of his coloring book and I put it on my desk. I was trying to hide it from him so he wouldn't notice that I took it, but yeah, he found out. So thankfully he wasn't frustrated about it or anything. But yeah, so if you're a parent of young children, it could be an opportunity for you to do this with your kids. Can't say how long it will last for, but definitely a win-win if you're able to do that with your kids. So yeah, another thing is single tasking. So instead of multitasking, it's just as simple as it sounds. Instead of multitasking, you are intentionally focusing on one thing at a time. So I tried this the other day with dishes. Usually I like listening to music or podcasts or something, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on washing the dishes. And so I was listening to the sloshing sounds as I was washing the dishes. It was kind of difficult for me to do, just because I wasn't used to doing that. And you may find that as you're doing some of these mindful exercises that you feel uncomfortable. You might feel a little anxious because you're not used to taking time and focusing on one thing. And even just time away from our phones even can be anxiety producing. So yeah, so as I was washing the dishes, it was just focusing on the sound of the rushing water, me as I'm scraping stuff off of the plates and things like that. And then just, focusing on just that one activity. And I found it was actually very relieving, that my mind actually needed a break and I hadn't given it that opportunity just to rest and focus like, okay, I'm not asking my brain to do 100 things at one time. I'm just asking it to do one thing. And it felt a lot simpler to do when I was just focusing on that. Another thing, tea time or coffee. I personally love doing tea time. Me and my husband starting to do this, I want to say maybe at the beginning of the year. he calls it tea time with Torty. So he likes puns. That was his creative title for it. So start just like the slowing down process as you are warming up the tea kettle, where you're hearing the bubbling sound of the water as it's beginning to hum and bubble up and start to boil. Then you're getting the tea bag out, or your tea leaves if you're fancy, and you begin to pour the water over the tea leaves and just watch as they dance around. If you have the tea leaves or the tea bag, just watch as it dances around. And if you like to put the honey in there, listen to the sound as the spoon is going against the cup, the clinking sound that it makes. And just really slow down, process, and take in everything that's happening in this experience. And then once you finally get to that first sip, where you feel the steam. Well, I feel the steam as it's rushing against my glasses. I know not everyone wears glasses, but and just thinking about sipping it and what flavors you're tasting in your mouth from the tea, and feel as it's the heat is going through to the back of your throat. And so it's a whole experience, and I highly recommend just taking some time to do this activity. So, and also consider inviting someone else, because tea time can be really fun. My son loves peppermint tea and chamomile, and so he's always asking to have tea with us. This one I just tried the other day, candle reflection. Now, I did try this with my kids. I took a risk, but obviously be careful if you have little ones around. And I brought this candle. This is a Bath & Body Works candle. I highly recommend it. It's called Lakeside Morning, and it smells so good. Oh my goodness. It's a 3-wick candle. They have the single ones, but it's fun to watch the 3-wick ones. So the other day I sat down with my boys. I was overwhelmed. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to light a candle. And so I took the candle, lit it, and surprisingly, both of my sons just sat with me and watched as the candle was burning. And we identified when there was little bubbles that would form and pop, and the color of the smoke as it came, because occasionally we would see some black smoke that would rise up. And this is something I taught my son. I'm like, look, EJ, look, the flames are dancing. And he loves looking forward to seeing them dance. And it's just a moment for all of us. We're just sitting in front of this candle and just taking it in. And also, so think about the smells that you're smelling. Feel the warmth against your skin. And watch as the candle starts to melt and create. It starts off as a little puddle around each wick, and then it continues until it combines and forms a pool of smell good liquid. So highly recommend that as well. So so those are the mindful exercises that I recommend for you all. And if you have other mindful exercises, feel free to comment. I would love to know some of the mindful exercises that you do as well. Also, before we go, this is so silly, but I'm wearing these earrings and I love them. So my mother-in-law got them for me. They're little parrots. And I'm like, oh, this works perfect for my Jamaican shirt. So I was really excited to wear them today because they're super colorful and they're bringing me a lot of joy right now. So that's another mindful technique too that you could do, is just finding things that bring you joy. So so thank you all for watching Friday Night Live at 4:05. If you're ready to step into your dreams but need additional help, let's create a plan together to make your dreams a reality. Just message or email me and I'd be more than happy to chat. And remember, your worth isn't measured by likes, comments, or Zelle payments. Your value is immeasurable, regardless of what lies ahead of you. Thank you guys for watching. See you later. Bye.